racing fans, welcome to another Get Hot, Stay Hot podcast hosted by yours truly, Peter Rotundo Sr., and my partner in crime, the very tanned and hairless Lee Davis. Well, you know the summer has arrived in our country here in the world of thoroughbred horse racing with the opening of the Del Mar meet yesterday, July 10th, and will run 3 days a week on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays through Labor Day, September 7th. And next Thursday, July 16th, Saratoga Racecourse begins their meet and will also run through Labor Day. And they will have their dog days on Mondays and Tuesdays. In other words, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 5 days in a row, they will be open and be closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, and that will run through September 7th, Labor Day. Monmouth Park, by the way, opened up last Friday, July 3rd, and next week, next Saturday, they'll host the Haskell Invitational, which will be July 18th, a mile and an eighth for strictly 3-year-olds. Monmouth will run 3 days a week, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays through Labor Day. Then for the remainder of September, racing will be held only on Saturdays and Sundays. And last but not least, today is the 4th day of the unprecedented summer meet at Keeneland, which closes tomorrow, Sunday, July 12th. We will talk about their super card for today a bit later in the show. But Lee, what's going on with you, son?
Well, you know what I was just thinking when you were giving some of the information about the races. This is going to be the first year, and I can't even, maybe ever, since I know you, that I'm actually going to the Haskell without you. I'm going by, with a few girlfriends of mine, and you're not going to be there, because you got your job at Louisiana Downs and you're doing your thing on Saturday. So this is, what a strange year. This is going to be like, I don't know what I'm going to do without you over there when with the gambling. I hang out with the girls and have a good time. But when it comes to the gambling part of it, I always use you as my, you're my guy. If I get into trouble as far as, handicap the races, usually come up with something big on Haskell Day. So it's gonna be strange.
Yeah, it will be strange, but you gotta make adjustments in life. Okay.
I'll be okay. I'm gonna be with a whole bunch of hot looking girls, so I'll be fine at the end of the day. But
I
you know what I mean.
But you still need me, for for entertainment purposes. You know what I mean? You could go get into a lull,
right?
And I take over, and that's what we've been doing for years.
And it's a lot. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. You got 5 girls, right?
And you
and
can't,
yourself,
right? Exactly. So
it's like almost like a harem you have.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that you'd be at the racetrack on a big day like the Haskell with 5 girls and yourself?
Without you, no, right. not. I would never believe that would happen. Right. But it's a very strange year. Your son's going to be up, in Saratoga.
Right.
Joe Bartelli, who usually comes with us as well, he's not going to be around. It's me and the girls. That's it. So, hopefully, I'm sure I'll have fun, but me. I'd rather make money than nothing else is important when I'm at the racetrack. I love to be with girls, but I want to make money too. So, hopefully we'll go over to work. You'll do some races. I know you got to do your job, but you do some of the big races, and I'll put a pick 5 together or something.
You've taught Nancy, one of the girls that are coming, how to handicap. She's pretty good now.
No, she is good. She loves the game, and she's learning how to read the form every day a little bit better. She asks you a lot of questions. So that'll be good. And she's she's a good entertainer as well. We were in the bar business together, and she could hold court better than anybody. As far
any
as,
girl that we've ever met,
right?
She could hold court with the best.
It doesn't matter, guys, girls, CEOs. She's right up there. So
that's
all right.
Great. Well, speaking of girls, today, we've talked on the former podcast about my Corona barber.
Oh yeah,
and she's a waitress. So yesterday I was on the boardwalk, and just before I came to your sister-in-law's house,
right? To the pool,
to the pool. So she was there. And she says, tomorrow I'm working. I'm working now 1 day a week because they opened up the diner, but only they have outside seating with a tent and everything. Now,
Right, so she's back as a waitress,
She's
doing the barber stuff a
Fridays.
little bit. Oh, on Fridays.
on
okay.
Fridays.
All right.
So now, it was raining like a son of a gun today.
Oh, today,
with the
forget about it.
thunderstorms and
Yeah.
everything. But I said, I made a commitment. So I went to the card store today, and I met Vinny. And Vinny's got the Kia, by the way. He likes to take his car because he's got the Kia with it's half battery, half gas.
He doesn't have to use a lot of gas.
Yeah,
It
you know what I
saves
mean?
money.
And he's
Right.
proud of it. Like
right.
he fills up his tank, I think it's $3.15.
Right.
And he gets mentally off on it, but whatever. Anyway, so we passed by the diner,
Right.
and we got to go in the parking lot to park. And I noticed that they had the big tent, and I could just see as we're passing, I think there's only one table.
So nobody
And
was even there.
So now I said,
empty.
well, let's park it, and maybe something's up. So we go in, and the manager's there. He says, no, we're open, but here, go through the store, and you can go on the other side. So I go, and I look, and I see our girl, Anne-Marie, sitting there by herself, very sad,
She
with
was
a
the
hand
only
on her
waitress
chin.
and there was no people.
Yeah, she's
Can't make
sitting
any money.
at the table.
Right.
And nobody's there.
I feel
when
bad
she
now.
saw us,
Right.
her eyes, I'm telling you, I never had any woman,
Right. She
with
was so
such
excited.
glee, a glow in their eyes when they
customer.
saw me and Vinny. She was so, oh, guys, I'm so happy. I was thinking about if you guys were going to come. So we came.
And the weather's
The weather's terrible. Now,
It's pouring.
we're sitting down. It's windy. The rain is coming through the tent.
Right.
And, again,
That's
we're
why
looking-
nobody's there, because of the
Right.
weather's bad.
But now, two lady policemen come in,
Right.
and there's only one table. Now, I mean, this place isn't run that professionally, apparently. The two lady cops went to pick up a table inside to bring it out. They're the customer going to
Right,
have.
you got the customers
The
going in
customers
the
going
place.
in.
Right.
Talk about self-service.
Right.
Took it to a different degree.
They're bringing the
And
tables out
now,
to sit there.
and now, again, I'm not a strong guy, but Vinny's a big guy. He's like 250 pounds, 6'2". I said, Vinny helped. I mean, he's a former cop.
And he's-
a
right, he's
detective.
an ex-cop.
Helped him
He's
out.
gonna help
So
him out.
he belatedly gets up,
Right.
and they're putting it through the door, and they're having a little trouble, but they finally get it through the door. And the only thing I could say is, I wasn't too good in geometry. I couldn't figure out how to get the table
Right.
through the door.
Right.
I mean, and you
you
were having
have
a
to
problem.
86 it. That's a word they use in the construction business. They call it. You got to 86 it. So you got to maneuver it through the.
So I ordered my normal, and you know what I love about Anne-Marie? I ordered the scrambled egg soft. I got the toast at the same time, well done, lightly
You
buttered.
got to train good
Right,
for that. She's-
and the home fries, which are tremendous over there, because they put some peppers and onions in it.
Right,
I mean, it
right.
really
Give
is
you
nice.
some
Hey,
taste.
So Vinny had a Wooly for pancakes. So we ordered pancakes. Now Vinny's got a touch of diabetes. I don't know if you could call it a touch of diabetes.
He's got diabetes.
He's got diabetes.
Type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, not that
He's not
not
taking
that bad.
shots, but he's taking the pills.
Right.
Yeah.
But now he orders the syrup, the sugar-free
Right.
syrup.
Right.
Okay. And how many would you think would be put on 3 pancakes? How many packs of the little syrups?
Oh, they come in the
yeah,
pack.
they packs. How many?
I don't know. I would say maybe 2. I would say 2 covers 3 pancakes, probably.
He used 7. 7.
And you know
Now-
why? Because he figures there's no sugar. I could use. I eat them.
But don't you think that?
Right. That's a little much.
Isn't
that's
that too much?
But you know what? I know Mike's pancakes. They're so bad.
They're not
I can't even
buttermilk,
believe he
I
or-
guess, right.
Right, they're water based. I
Right.
can't even believe he ordered them, knowing that he ordered. You know,
Because
now
it-
it makes sense that he
it
used
evaporates. It evaporates
right.
in the
now
pancake.
it makes sense that he used all that syrup because Mike's pancakes. I love Mike.
Yeah.
Pancakes are horrible.
Right.
So I get that. So
Yeah. So anyway.
all right, so
So
that
we
was
had a
your-
good
that was your
time.
good morning.
We gave her a good tip. She was happy.
Right.
And another couple came.
Again.
And so I think she's gonna have a.
Again, that's
a
the
good
touch
day.
of the Saints of Staten Island. What we used to do. That's what we take care of our
Right,
people. You know what I
right.
mean? You
But
see us sitting
I
there
just
and
feel like I caught a cold here. I just don't.
you got stuck in the rain.
I got stuck in the rain and with the
Hopefully you
wind.
don't get sick.
And I don't want to sound like a baby, but I think I'm coming down a little cold.
But you went somewhere to get it. You told me you get your temperature taken or something like
No,
that?
I went. Oh, I went. No, actually, I went before, and I went for a manicure and pedicure. You had
Oh, this
mentioned before I went to the diner.
Oh, okay.
And
so this is before the rain. You got
before
wet.
the rain,
Oh.
and the guy took my temperature, And you know, they pressed
Yeah,
the,
they put the
thing
thing up
right to
against
your
your
head.
head, yeah.
And
You
he
were
said
90.
99. And I
Right.
went, yeah, like I hit the lottery.
No,
I
like
yelled
get
out,
a 99
yeah.
buyer.
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
So I was very happy about
you're
it.
happy that
you know?
number's a good
But
number.
some woman next to me had like almost 101.
Yeah, but
She
did
was-
they let her come in?
No, they
to
says
do the
you
thing?
should. You know what? They continued doing a feat and said, I think
Really?
you should see a doctor.
No,
That's
but
what
they're
the guy-
not supposed to say
Well,
that. They're
that's-
supposed to
I'm
throw her out of there
just
and
telling
say, don't go see. Now you got to go see a doctor. Can't be in there because
Well-
you could infect other people.
Right. Well,
Oh, my
you know, if
God,
I get sick, it's probably, you know what I mean, handicapping the situation. But
Oh, I had
this
great
lady-
experience again. I got the full thing the other day. I went and I got the best pedicure, the $50 job where they massage your legs and the whole 9 yards, and it was tremendous. I loved it. And they put up screens, and there were curtains and plastic curtains. Everybody wore a mask. People followed the rules. Waited outside, and you know what? Very enjoyable, and I was happy because I needed to get a pedicure. I always go for manicures, but I needed
Right.
to get a pedicure that for the summer because I need we're gonna go up to Saratoga, and even though we're not gonna be able to go into the track or whatever, but I was still gonna have flip flops on, and
But the one thing I can't understand, which I disagree with you tremendously, is, when they ask, do you want to, put any polish on your nails?
Yeah, I don't do it on my feet,
No,
but I do it on my fingers.
Yeah, but that's
No,
but
I like
I
that.
think it's I don't know. I just don't like the look for a guy to have
Oh,
polished
it's
nails.
like a gangster look. Yeah, that's when I was a kid. All the gangsters always had the nail polish. So as I grew up, when I got a manicure, I always got
How
my
come you
nails
don't wear a
polished.
pinky ring then? If you with the polished nails, you should have the
I
pinky
don't,
ring.
I don't
no?
want to go over the top.
okay.
I'm subtle, like you say. Yeah, there's little things here and there that I use from my childhood. That's one of the things that stuck. But the woman even asked me, "Do you want polish on your nails?" I looked at her
On your feet?
and I go,
Right.
"Guys do that?" I go, "Tell me one guy that I want to know." And she was like, "No, I just want to know because you said you do it on your." So I said, "No, I don't want any.
Right.
Just do whatever." And that was it. And I enjoyed it. And I was happy. And when you get a pedicure, manicure, you always feel better when you come out of the place. Right. And we were in the backyard at Dina's swimming yesterday. The weather was beautiful. So
No, it was great. It was great.
had a
And you
good
know what? Your cousin brought over some sandwiches. How good were the sandwiches?
My God, let me tell you, I know a lot of the restaurants around and places to get food, and again, you know how when I always tell you the sandwich could be anything, but without the bread, the sandwich is nothing. So you need to have good bread. And he went to Royal Crown, which I've never been to that Royal Crown. I've been to the one on Island Boulevard, but the bread that they use for the sandwiches, it was out of this world, unbelievable. And they toasted it a little bit, which I've never had that, and then I had my usual shredded ham with lettuce, tomato, mayo, whatever, and it was delicious. That's why I ate half, and you were like, I'm not hungry. I said, no, you got to taste it.
And you were right, 100%.
You know what I
And
mean?
I've always said this, when it comes to food, when you say, Brown, trust me, this is great, I believe you. Just stay away from sweets because you're the worst.
Right, no, I
Everything you
agree.
say
I'm
about
a bad
sweets,
sweets
you're
guy.
so way off base. But you know what, about yesterday, sitting there near the pool and everything, you just nonchalantly said, oh, you know what? Bull Derek replied to my tweet like Bull Derek, like Johnny or Jane across the street just replied to me.
Like some-
Bull Derek, Bull Derek, the
Derek.
original 10, the most beautiful woman in the history of show business.
Right.
And you're just saying, what was the tweet about?
Well, what happened was I was on Twitter and I saw a tweet about a German Shepherd, and the German Shepherd was laying down looking at these little chicks, little chicks. They were like baby chicks, and it was almost like he was guarding them. And I know Bo Derek has German Shepherds,
Right.
so right away it came to my head. I said, let me retweet it with Bo Derek's thing on there, and she'll see it and whatever. And she saw it and she said, thanks, Lee, whatever, sent it back to me. And I was that
but
impressed me. You know what I mean?
I know,
Derek could be. She's busy doing a million. She had time enough to
Right.
send me a thank you that I thought about her. That she sent me a reply to thank you. Whatever.
My favorite Bo Derek experience was actually it was about a year and a half ago. I was at the Breeders' Cup, and I meet her and a lovely sister at the breakfast, and we start talking about things, the horses and everything. What do you like and all that stuff. And I said, Nick, we were talking about age and stuff. I said, next year I turned a big number. She says, what do you mean? She says, I says, I turned 70 next year. And she goes, 70? She says, I got to tell you, you've got beautiful skin. Bo Derek said that I had beautiful skin.
Right.
Now, we're talking about, again, the original 10.
Right.
The woman that came out of the water
Right. With the braids.
decades
and all
ago
that,
with the
yeah,
braids
yeah.
that every man, every
Right,
heterosexual
right.
man
Have that poster in their room.
Had their poster in their room.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was the most breathtaking woman ever.
Right.
And I even think if you're homosexual, you felt the same way, her coming out of the water. Whether you were gay or straight or whatever, she is the most, beautiful woman on the face of the earth. I mean, don't you agree?
I agree. I totally agree. But she gave you a compliment, so.
No, well, that's, I mean, and she's a very observant person.
Obviously,
if you notice.
right.
She's very, very observant. But, we're talking about also yesterday at the pool, we're talking about the art of picking out, we're into lookalikes.
Right.
And-
The art of being able to tell somebody, who does that person look like, and being able to tell you who that person looks like without no tips, no information, no nothing.
Right, you
Just
don't
saying,
say,
that person
well,
looks
she
like,
used
who
to
is
be
it?
a star, or
Right, it
he
could be-
worked in
it could be
Wall
anybody.
Street, it could be anybody.
the guy who's, the waiter at the diner, or it could be the hair-cutting lady from the Corona lady, whatever. Could be anybody.
Right.
But that's an art form that, again, we have a lot of art forms that doesn't translate into money.
Right.
That's one of the ones that doesn't translate into money. But
no one is more passionate about saying, who does that person look like? And when the person gets it,
we go crazy.
We go
right?
crazy.
I can't believe. But I also have to say, whether, and I know Tony Sciametta, who was
God rest his soul,
used
he's
to
80
say
years
it all
old.
the time.
He would have been 80 years old
Right.
today, my
And he-
best friend.
And he's right, because I
Right.
say it too. Even if you tell me who that person looks like and I get it, you go, I love me. Meaning, like, that's what I was
I
thinking.
take the credit,
You
yeah,
take the credit.
on both
and then
sides.
If I go, who does that person look like, and you get it, you say, I love me. So it's like you take the credit from both sides. But Tony's right. Don't I ever get the credit for anything?
No, you
I
get
don't
credit,
get
but
it.
I'm so excited
Right.
that I just... That's the reaction I get, and the best one that ever happened. Because my son,
He's very good at
he's very
lookalikes.
good with lookalikes.
Right,
but
right. He's very
if
good at lookalikes.
if he says, "Who does that look like?" and I guess something else that he doesn't agree with me,
No, right.
he'll roll his eyes and go, "Dad, please stop." And I go, "No, I'm right," and we have an argument. But I'll never forget his 40th birthday
Yeah, we were in
party.
Vegas.
We were in
I
Vegas.
was a witness
We're at
to
the
it, yeah.
at the pool area, right?
Right.
And-
And if you get this,
No, he said to me,
right.
"Look at that girl over there. If you could tell me who she looks like, I will never question you again on lookalikes.
Right.
In fact, I can erect a statue of you because you're the best of all time."
Right.
This is exactly what he said. Who does she look like?
And it took a little bit of time.
It
You didn't get it right
it took
away.
about a minute.
Right.
I looked at her and I said, "She is a female version of your friend Eric McGill, the guy that climbs the
Right,
buildings in
right,
the
washes
city.
the windows in the buildings, or
that
whatever.
climbs the
Yeah,
buildings
yeah,
in the
yeah,
city."
yeah.
He went absolutely
Crazy.
wild. "You're right." He
Right.
said, "You're the best." Hugging me, kissing me. I never saw so much emotion for my son.
No, because that's the ultimate of lookalikes. When someone doesn't give you any
Right,
information,
you know, if she
and
were
then
a guy,
right,
what
he
would
didn't
she
even
look
say
like?
that. He
Right.
just said, "Who does she look like?" And now most people would try to think. I'm average at lookalikes.
Right.
I would say, I'm thinking of a girl. Like, what does this girl look like? Another girl. Meanwhile, you said with, it took us a couple of minutes or whatever, but you said this guy, and like he went crazy and then after the fact, when I saw it was all in the chin because I remember the girl, and you got it, and he went crazy. I'm never, and he slowly, he's lived up to it. He hasn't questioned you on any.
No,
other
you're right.
lookalikes
But it was, and you know what? And that is very complex. You talk about, as handicappers, when we come up with a 10-to-1 shot, a 15-to-1 shot,
Right.
we and we pick it and it wins.
Right.
we try to be humble. It's very difficult for us, but we try to be humble, and we say, you know what? That was a very complex.
Right, you give the reasons,
Right.
and you got to go
You
deep
gotta
into the
go
race.
deep.
Anybody can look at a racing form a lot, most of the time and see 6-5, 2-1, and tell you the reasons why you think that horse can win. But when you're picking prices, and it's the same thing with lookalikes. When you get good at lookalikes, and now we've been together for so long, so we could do voice alikes, we could do from the forehead up, just the walk.
Right.
Who is that person? Who is? And we're at another level at this stage again. We could start you off average, just regular lookalikes, but once you get good at it, and we go crazy. But again, it doesn't mean it in real life. It doesn't mean anything. It just makes us happy for that split minute, 5 seconds. We're excited. We're happy. We smile, whatever it is, and we love ourselves, and we walk away like and really
Like we accomplished something for the day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We got to get lives. That's the moral of the story. But you know what? Back again at that pool area for my son's 40th. I remember you saw a girl that had a tattoo on her ankle, and you said, correct me if I'm wrong. You said, "I love your ankle," and then you elaborated.
Right. She
after
was
it,
wearing a
but-
hot string
Right.
bikini,
What-
and she was sexy as all can be. And any guy that's come up to her and gave her compliments in her life, the last compliment she's probably ever gotten or never gotten was some guy coming up to her going,
I love your ankle.
I love your ankle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you
And
mean
what
you
was
love
her
my ankle?
response to you when you said that?
No, she
had the.
she had a tattoo on her ankle, and she was in shock. And I said, no, that you got a tattoo on your ankle. It says Carpe Diem.
And
And
Carpe
that
Diem was
year-
supposed to be running in the
He
Derby.
was running right. He happened to be. Maybe he was running the Bluegrass. It might have been the Bluegrass before the Derby, or maybe won the Bluegrass, or he ran in the money, or whatever it was. But he was going to run the Derby, and I thought it was I'm so sick. I thought it was an omen. And I bet a ton of money on Carpe. I got buried. I lost so much money because I just thought it was sometimes you just think things are meant to be. Like when the Mets won the World Series in '86. I just knew they were going to win because so many fluke things were happening. And at the end when Buckner dropped, I just knew they were going to win.
Didn't you stay in contact with her for a while?
Yes, I became friendly with her, and she was in California, and I spoke to her for a while. She was a veterinarian, or she worked for a veterinarian, so she was around animals and everything like that. And I stayed friendly with her, but I lost so much money just thinking that.
No, but you know what? I remember she was very, very hot looking, very sexy.
Oh, she was sexy.
And the way you said it, I love your ankle.
Right.
And she looked at
No,
she
she
said,
looked like this guy's what's the matter with this
what
guy?
the
Like he's
hell
a
is wrong?
psychopath.
Right.
Besides she was 25 and I was 45 at the time, whatever the hell it was at the time.
Then that night we went to a club, and they had like in a go-go bar, they had the poles.
they're the poles.
Right.
Yeah.
And there were two girls. I was dancing like on the bar, and they were sandwiching me in between. I don't know what they call that.
No, that was a good
and I
time.
was like, unbelievable.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good time in Vegas. But I got news for you. Who knows if those days will ever come back? You know what I mean? I can't imagine. I haven't gone, but I can't. Or it hasn't been open. But I can't imagine going to a go-go bar or strip bar and watching the girl strip, but everything she has off except her mask. You know what I mean? Like takes all the clothes up, but she's still wearing a mask. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's the new breed.
It's the new it's the new thing. So
Hey, who knows?
what else?
Anyway, what I think we should let's start talking about today's races at Keeneland. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 6 graded races today. In fact, they start off with race 6, the Appalachian Stakes, and a mile on the turf for 3-year-old fillies. The 7th race is the Ashland, grade 1. That's at a mile on the 16th for 3-year-old fillies. Race 8 is the Jenny Wiley Stakes, grade 1, a mile and a 16th on the turf, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. Let's see, you got the grade 1 Madison Stakes at 7 furlongs, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds up. They've got the Shakertown Stakes, 5.5 furlongs, grade 2, 3 and up. And obviously the Toyota Bluegrass at a mile and 8 for 3-year-olds.
Right, that's the one I want to talk about.
Now, but the thing is this, I just want to tell you the type of bets they have. So starting in this, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting in the fourth race,
Right. Oh,
they have the pick 4. I mean
Right.
the pick 6. It's $1 minimum. The pick 6.
Right.
4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th.
Right. And that ends with the Bluegrass.
That ends with the Bluegrass. They also starting the following race, the fifth race, they have a pick 5, 50-cent minimum, $500,000 guaranteed.
Wow,
That's the
nice.
5th through the 9th,
Right.
ending with the bluegrass. And the pick 4 is the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, $500,000 guaranteed. And that's the pick 4, the late pick 4. So you could start off betting a pick 6. That's the minimum dollar bet.
Right.
You lose that race, the first
bet a
leg.
pick five,
You bet a
you
pick
bet a
5.
pick
You lose
four.
that, pick 4.
Oh, forget
you
about
gotta
it.
you
You
gotta
go
go
for
for a
your
lot of
balls.
money.
Forget about
but you gotta be, if you're right.
Oh, you're gonna
They-
get paid. These
you're
are the
gonna get
days.
paid.
No, these are the type of days we talk about all the time.
And I mean, you know, I loved yesterday's race, the Maker's Mark race. I was shocked actually that War Will won the race. I 0 for 5 on the grass. I just couldn't bet him. I know he was working good. He had a nice workout. You know, but I was looking. I went with Hembry, the old veteran. Big price, 25-1. But whatever, you know, War Will won. I'm a War Will fan. It's not like I don't like War Will. I like the horse, and I'm glad he won. And you know, Norm Cassie.
Well, yeah, no, Mark Cass.
I mean, Mark Cassie.
But the thing is, we have bad memories of War Will because he was interfered with in the Derby last
Right,
year
it cost
at
us money.
17-1,
Right.
and cost him the race. And then he came back. We didn't come back with him in the Preakness,
Right.
and we had what was it, Owendale.
Right.
We bet Owendale in that race. He only lost the race by about a length, but it's good to see Cassie back with this War Will. Good to see that he won the Maker's Mile.
Right.
But Lee, what do you think about the? You know, we're not going to go over the other races.
not gonna go
But
over
what
all
about
the
the
races.
Toyota Bluegrass? What do you think about that race?
I don't know. I like. Well, we have a fan favorite, the one that we've been following, Finnick the Fierce. We've been following him, you know, for his career, and he's you know, a horse that we hope to get that gets in the Derby because I think he'll be a big price, and I think the race sets up for him. Believe it or not, I know we're going to pick him anyway, but you know, there's enough speed where if you know he could sit 4 or 5 off if he's not too close, you know, because of some of these workouts they've been working him pretty fast. So I think they're trying to keep him close, which could be a mistake. I
Right.
don't know.
Well, maybe
But,
you know what? There was an old saying: "Good horses work fast."
Right. Okay.
You know, so I mean, his last race, Finnick the Fierce, he ran an allowance race against one of the horses that is actually
a full
5-1.
race. It was like a
Yeah, it was a
ridiculous race.
5-1 on a program for the Bluegrass. Is Art Collector.
Yeah.
and he's coming off back-to-back allowance wins at Churchill, going 7 furlongs in
Right,
the last
Brian
one.
and
A
Anders
mile
on
and 16.
fire,
So
by
he
the
was
way.
laying like a half a length off the lead, and he's not.
That's not his style.
And I really believe that Finnick the Fierce, he wasn't cranked up 100% for that race. It was just like a long workout for
Right,
him.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I
And
agree.
this was his main goal, the Bluegrass,
Right.
to get enough points to make sure that he gets into the Derby.
But McPeak is going to have Swiss Skydiver. I would imagine on the lead. You know,
Well, she's coming off a 3-race win streak. I mean, she's is going to try the boys for the first
Right,
time.
and if she wins, she'll be able to run in the Oaks or the Derby. She'll have points, you know,
Right.
because there's big points. She'll be able to get into the Oaks or the Derby, which is, you know, it's nice. And I like to see that they're taking a shot with a filly against the boys. You know, because people always ask me, how come, you know, they don't have fillies running the Derby anymore? But they have to run in the raceway to get points.
Right, and the point is, this isn't a stellar field. I mean,
No.
Another horse in the race that won an allowance race and he beat Dean Martini, who won the Ohio Derby, is the Man in the Can.
Right.
Man in the Can won last time out in an allowance race, and he also beat that horse Erna, who
right.
ran the other day in
Yeah.
the Indiana Derby, ran
run.
fourth.
Right,
He
didn't
ran
run.
fourth. He ran okay.
Ran okay.
But nothing earth
Right,
shattering.
right,
So
right.
he's one of the horses that are running.
But
in
the other thing
Bluegrass.
I like about Finnick the Fierce, I like the jockey change. I'm big
Oh,
on
yes.
jockey changes. You know
I
what
mean,
I mean?
nothing against Martin Garcia, but
No, nothing. He's
Jose
a good job.
Ortiz.
But I
is
love
Jose-
Jose Ortiz,
Right.
right? And Jose Ortiz, Jose Ortiz, and I like that. And then the horse that we won all the money when we hit the pick 4 with your son, with boy, is in the race. Mr. Big News. You remember the
Oh,
race
yes,
where he
yes,
wanted
yes.
60-1, whatever. What was the
Yeah.
price he was? I think he was.
Oh, it was a
I
monumental
want to say,
price.
yeah, he was like, he's 60 something to 1, I think he was, wasn't it? Or 40 something. No, 46 to 1
Right.
he was. Yeah, he's in the race too. I think it's going to be a nice race. I know you're right. It's not like all the great horses.
Oh, yeah,
that
you
were
got
in the race.
Basin in the race. He ran a distant second to Charlatan in the Split Arkansas Derby on May 2nd.
Right.
You got Chivalry in the race, which you put in as a long shot in the Florida Derby.
Right.
Lost to Tis the Law.
Right.
You know, and, you know.
Oh, and Zito's got a horse. We haven't heard Zito's name in a while. Zito's got a horse in the race. Hunt the Front. Nick Zito. Corey Lannery's riding for him. He's again a big closer,
Right.
and he'll be he's 30 to 1 morning line. It'll be a big price, the horse. But whatever. It should be interesting. But I hope Finnick the Fierce won. I mean, I made 275. Finnick the Fierce, Man in the Can, and Swiss Sky the Philly. I made the Philly
Right.
third. So whatever.
Well, I'm
We'll
just
see what
picking
happens.
Finnick the Fierce. I'll make a win bet on him tomorrow and hope for the best.
You'll definitely
You know
get a
what
good
I mean?
price on him.
All I'm hoping is that Jose Ortiz could get us a real
Just put him in
saving
position. Right.
Yeah,
Saving, he's
you
going
know,
to be
he's
right.
got the two posts, save
Right.
some
Save
ground, stay about
exactly.
5 lengths off the speed,
Right.
and try to get tip out around the turn and see what he's got. You know what I mean? Because he's got to run 1-2 in this race for him
To have any chance to get into the Derby,
any
yeah.
legitimate. Forget about even getting it. To have any legitimate shot to win the Derby.
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah. You don't want to just get in and not be able to win the
Right,
race.
exactly.
No, I know.
You know, and there are some owners and trainers for some reason I'll never understand. They just want to run in the Derby, or they want to run. But
they
if
don't
you're
care if they
100 to
run
1
dead
and you
last
have
by
no
100.
shot,
Right, it's
why would you?
embarrassing.
Isn't
Why
it
buy-
embarrassing
right.
to go in
Just
there
to
with
go there
no-
and say, "Oh, I was in the Derby."
I was in the Derby.
Nah, I wouldn't want to do that either.
Right.
But
You know what? Some people are different. What are you
No,
gonna
I mean,
do?
you could always have the mint juleps anywhere without running a horse. You could go to the, you
Could still go to the
right. You
Derby,
could still
right.
wear the nice
Right.
hats and get
Put them
dressed up.
put
and
them on the undercard and win one of those races. What's
Right,
the matter with
exactly.
that?
You
You know,
know.
there's bigger fish to fry maybe down the
Right.
road. But if you have no chance, you're
No,
right.
if you're
Why-
going to run last by 50 lengths, to me,
Why go in
it's-
the race?
yeah.
Right.
And it's not even fair to the horse. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because the horse has got to go back to the barn embarrassed.
Right. To all the
I wonder
CEOs,
if
friends,
horses
and
do get
embarrassed.
embarrassed when they really
Well,
perform badly.
well, you know what? I don't know about getting embarrassed, but I know for a fact you've told me this. Horses get their heart broken when they
Yes.
run and they go all out and they lose and they eventually.
Well, that's
just,
what happened to Sham. You know, the Secretariat.
broke
We were
his
talking
heart.
about that the
Right.
other day.
Yeah.
We were talking
I
about
mean,
that
the Derby, the Preakness,
Right.
the
How much
Belmont,
could you- how
especially
much
the
could you
Belmont.
take?
They were 46, 109.
Right.
And he just drew away Secretariat, and Sham was
And that was the
never-
end of
that
Sham
was
after
the
that.
end
And it
of
happens
Sham.
to a lot of horses.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could break out. Ali Darwin affirmed.
Right.
Affirmed. Just keep beating them,
Every
and
Time
after a
you
while,
beat 'em by, a little bit.
whatever. But yeah, after a while, but so that does happen. So you really want to, if you're an owner or you're a trainer, you want to place the horses in the right spots where they belong. You know what I mean? And you want to give them every chance they have to become great. But sometimes, if not, you don't want to just say, "Oh, let's put them in anyway. We got enough points." Let's put
No,
'em
I
in."
respect
I don't
trainers
believe
that put their horses in positions that they're going to win, not just for the
Well,
sake. I mean,
if I'm an owner, I want a trainer to do that.
well,
for
yeah,
me, you know?
but there are some owners that they think they have another Secretariat, and they say, "No, I want to enter into this big race,"
Right.
and they do it because again, they're paying the bills.
Right.
I mean, but. You know what I mean? It's
Let
it's
the
a
people
very
do the
ticklish
job that
situation.
they know what
the
they're doing.
owner owns the horse, they pay the bills, but the trainer is really like the boss. But sometimes you get
An owner that just says, "I want to do this," and say, "Okay, I'll do it, and I'll train him the best I can," but I'm just letting you know this is not a spot that he belongs in. You got to just tell them up front.
Right.
So at least, God forbid, when it happens, and I'm sure it goes the other way around, where the horse winds up winning and makes the trainer look
Right.
silly. I'm sure that happens once or twice.
Yeah,
But,
it's there's no science to any of this. We
Right.
all know that, but that's what makes horse racing so interesting.
Right.
Because each day there's a new puzzle, each race a new puzzle, and you got to try to figure it out.
Just tell me how many more days left before I could leave this Staten Island and go to Saratoga for the whole meet.
Well,
and
we've got
I
less
know
than-
it's not. I know you can't get to the track, and I'm telling you, I don't even care. I just want to be there. Something when I'm there,
Right.
that psychologically I feel. Amazing.
It's
I
a
don't know what it
renaissance.
is.
You feel like a new person.
Right.
In less than 2 weeks, we'll be there, God willing. You know what I mean?
And I can go for my first mineral bath of the season.
Right. Is there any particular place that you go to the mineral
Yeah,
bath
I
over
go to
there?
the what is it? The Roosevelt baths. The Roosevelt Bats. I got
Right.
it. That's the one I like. I love that place, and it has the the water, the cold water that comes up from the ground. And
Right.
And I've told you this a million times. And I know you call me crazy. When I get out of one of those beds, I feel like $1 million, and I have out of body experience. And I had days where I won, a lot of money off a mineral bed. So I'm sticking with it. I can't wait
Well,
to get up there.
if you ever get to buy a horse, you could call him Mineral Bed. Right? Think about that.
That could be his name.
Right,
We got
exactly.
plenty of names. If we hit the lottery, we got plenty of names.
Don't
for
let
horses.
us ever hit the Mega Millions,
No,
people,
because we'll have-
because
right.
we'll put on a show that you never could even imagine
Right.
what could happen.
I don't want to talk about it
Right.
because it didn't happen. But
Right.
if it does, we'll.
You'll be the first to know.
Right,
All our,
and you know
all
what?
our
We'll take all
listeners.
you guys for
Right.
a ride with us. because
Exactly.
The ride you'll never want to get off.
All
Trust
right,
me.
Lee. Why don't we
Let's
wrap
wrap
this
it up.
up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll be back next week. We got Saratoga next week. I'll tell you, another reason to live, guys.
That's it. All right.
So,
It's like we always say, get hot and stay hot.